Yo, good day to all you good people. Spiderzilla 28 back at it with another video. The following video is, well, the first episode of a new series that I, yours truly, started cooking up for y'all called Kaiju Controversy. In these episodes, I discuss and break down sensitive kaiju topics and highlight the positive aspects so that perhaps a newfound respect can be earned from said review. So, you read that title, Godzilla 2019 is flawless. Now, hold your pitchforks now. Let me clarify. I ain't saying it's the best movie ever made, although low-key I probably am, but as a kaiju film, it works on so many levels. Although, admittedly, I know I gained a lot of attention by the title alone. I know it's a very bold claim to say Godzilla 2019 is flawless, but, well, do we have the Dave Chappelle meme? Do we have the Dave?
Gotcha, bitch!
Yeah, I'm sure the title alone was genius, if I do say so myself. Now, to further emphasize on how necessary this particular video is, we gotta do some time travel. So let's rewind back to 2019. Now, back then, you had everyone and their mothers, film critics, YouTube critics, hell, even people I knew, making up these blasphemous lies, these blasphemous claims, and said this film was, well, shady. It was bad, quote unquote bad. 2019 simply was not a good year for Godzilla. Now, here's the thing. People were constantly just dropping these massive Triceratops turds, like literally just taking diarrhea dumps all over this undervalued gem. It was like almost as if, hold on, do we have a Jurassic Park meme here? Oh, we do? Okay. Insert Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. Now, Ian Malcolm represents the majority of critics, and just for the sake of context, Godzilla 2019 is the pile of Triceratops dung that you see before you. Dr. Malcolm, of course, is, and now again, remember, he's representing the critics of this film. Dr. Malcolm is, of course, looking at this craft or dung with complete and utter disgust. Unbeknownst to him, that within this pile of crap is, well, necessary fertilizer and nutrients for the ever-developing minds of aspiring writers, directors, and creators. There we go. I just made a poem. I just made a poem out of a, meme. So, there we go. Let's get back to our main protagonist. Again, I really like Mark Russell. Where was I? First off, major props to Legendary for making their lead protagonist vastly more likable and interesting than their first attempt back in 2014. I believe his name was Ford, the soldier we follow back in 2014. Following Ford was definitely a chore. This guy had the charm and personality of a fucking carrot. And that's no fucking insult. It's no insult to the actor himself. But the way he was just written was terrible. Terrible lines. Boring person. It was just a bad character. Fast forward to Mark, and right off whip, we learned that he has to deal with a deep, just profound hatred for the Titans, especially Godzilla, as he blames Godzilla for the death of his son. As he was there during the Godzilla 2014 events in San Francisco. He loses someone that he obviously loves and cares about deeply, that he can never replace. And one valuable difference between Mark and Ford doesn't seem to go through any real character arc. He stands around, he looks bored, says one-word phrases like "dad" or "monster," and that's it. In 2019, Mark Russell has to learn how to appreciate / like the very thing that he believes killed his son. He has to go against his mother, he has to go against the mother of his kids, Emma Russell, who is one of the human protagonists in this film. This is another character that gets like unnecessary pushback and flack. Some say, oh, her motivations are stupid. Her ideas are wacky. The writing of said character is dumb and flawed. Now, I'm not going to say this is the best written character, or best written villain in fiction, but if one has a basic understanding of human psychology, one can simply argue that due to the extreme levels of like stress and PTSD / survivor's guilt that Emma is now dealing with, one can simply say that like unleashing these titans / unleashing these kaiju in the hopes of like reshaping the planet, she now feels like a overwhelming sense of purpose. I mean, it sounds hard to imagine a person like this, but remember, this is a world with 300 foot tall radioactive lizards running around. So yeah, honestly, her motivations, I mean, I guess while questionable, I mean, you could just really simply put yourself in the perspective / shoes of like this character who has let PTSD and stress overtake them so much so to the point where like her mentality is now like just totally like misshaped and deformed, or like just totally like erratic at this point. And honestly, like her characterization like totally makes sense in my opinion. There's nothing really wrong or bad with it. I've honestly like witnessed far worse characters back in like the old school Toho movies. So like Emma works for this film. I don't really have that much of an issue with her. There's funny moments in 2014, but like nothing that made me laugh for like more than 3 seconds. But here, dude, that scene where Serizawa and his team are like in court, and the guy shows the footage of the Mutos, and he goes, "Oh yes, let's now proceed to the Titan mating footage." And the guy goes, "I believe this is the one where like the genitals are edited out," and of course it like blurs the two Mutos and stuff. Like, guys, if you didn't laugh at that moment, I don't know what to do. That's comedic gold right there. It took me off guard when I seen it in theaters for the first time. Man, again, there's like, and there of course is comedy in here that works and or doesn't work. Like there's the one bit where, actually, hold on, probably one of the funnier scenes is when Mothra shows up, and the dude that plays, it's Ice Cube's son, I forget his name, but he plays one of the soldiers, and he basically goes, so her and Godzilla, they got like a thing it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of freaky. And again, there's a lot of laughable moments in here. You can tell they're obviously like biting off of the MCU, like trying to copy the MCU, but honestly, I gave them effort for this, because again, it's a lot more comedy in here than 2014, a lot more. And I feel like that Kong Skull Island did contain a lot of comedy too. And that just, the MonsterVerse in general just doesn't receive enough credit for actually being ambitious or daring enough to pursue comedy in their films. They don't get enough credit. So bravo. Oh yeah. So I forgot one small detail. So the scene where Rodan emerges from the volcano and Russell and his crew, they notice Ghidorah is approaching. And Mark says, it's responding to Big Bird's cries. It's looking for food, a fight, or something more intimate. Like, guys, if you don't laugh at that, I don't know what else to tell you. You got, like, you're bougie if you don't laugh at that, honestly. That's comedic gold right there. Now, let's address and appreciate just how ambitious King of the Monsters 2019 really is. Legendary rented the licenses for 3 other foreign kaiju, excluding Godzilla himself. Even if this is a badly constructed film, which it ain't, it's not. Don't be in denial. But even if this is a badly constructed film, you almost have to drop brownie points for this effort alone. Okay? We got, guys, 3 other foreign kaiju, excluding Godzilla himself. Like, let's be grateful. Let's be a little grateful here. Moving right along, Mothra. The introduction scene, Mothra's introduction scene was simply superb. We get to see Mothra be sweet and benevolent, and cute and all that good jazz, but we also get to see her, perform these sick kaiju attacks. She's like wetting people up and tossing them around. Not to mention the 2019 design for her larval form alone is just, it's pretty kick-ass. It's not too cute. It's not like too adorable, but like not at the same time not too horrific either. It's like the perfect mix of both, in my opinion. Again, it's not too over the top, but it's very memorable and iconic. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you, but you're probably in denial. Moving right along, let's proceed to Rodan. Rodan, before I even talk about like the kaiju himself, before I even address Rodan, let's appreciate the soundtrack, like the Rodan theme. And bro, when I tell you I listened to this theme at least, cue a sample. Go ahead, cue a sample of the Rodan theme. Oh man, bro, when I tell you I listen to this thing at least twice a month. Sometimes I work out to this joint. It's amazing. It's like, if I were to describe this theme, it's as if like a squad of cherubim from heaven came down and blessed us with their musical talent, bro. It's amazing. Fast forward a little, and we're blessed enough to see this Kaiju Pterodon do his best Spider-Man impressions as he performs like aerial twist and turns, to annihilate the jets that are like attacking him. That scene is just, it's chef kiss. It's fantastic, bro. It's indescribably badass. It's like the perfect, like contemporary version or slash like depiction of this kaiju. Like, especially if you go back and watch the original 1950s Rodan movie, you can tell there was a lot of inspiration like put in place in this film. So again, bravo Legendary for that. This movie is just it's so good, man. Oh boy, now and let's cue the Ghidorah picture. Now we get to the big bad kaiju antagonist himself, Ghidorah. Everything about Legendary's Ghidorah was simply superb. From the updated design, his haunting theme music, to how he acted and interacted with everything else in the movie. The fact that he ate and killed Sarazawa's assistant, I forget her name, but he ate and killed her out of the blue, caused me to drop my jaw, like literally in the theaters when I first saw this. At that very moment, I thought none of the human characters were safe or good. I thought at like literally at any point in time they could have died because it was that random and out of the blue. And again, like great writing on Legendary's hand, like great writing. I truly love how sinister and like intelligent this version of Ghidorah was. Ghidorah picks up Godzilla and takes him above the clouds and drops him to his doom. And this scene alone was was worth watching in the theater. It's very, you can tell the team at Legendary, they were probably examining animals in the wild, and they observed like shit like hawks and or falcons like picking up random animals off the ground and then like dropping them. Again, genius action scene. I'll get to more of that a little bit later, but again, Ghidorah, the design, his updated roar, his updated theme, dude, it's fantastic, bro. It's fantastic. I'm getting chills just describing it. One classic example is the intimidation scene, right? That's one scene that instantly comes to mind. So, yeah, and you know the scene I'm talking about. Again, if you've seen this in theaters, it's very, very iconic. It's unforgettable. We see Serizawa and Mark and their team underwater in like this underwater vehicle of sorts, and they encounter Godzilla, and Godzilla is of course, exhibiting like a light. They actually I think one of the soldiers actually referred to it as a light show. He's like, "What's with the light show?" Classic line. And I really love this scene. Like, it basically demonstrates Godzilla's intelligence, how he does, when he perceives things or when he's studying something, like, his go-to move isn't always going to be, hey, must kill, or attack it, kill it with fire. We actually see Godzilla, like, study his prey, so to speak. This allows us, the viewer, a glimpse into the mind of the kaiju. And we basically come to the conclusion of, like, why waste energy on something if it isn't a threat? And of course, once we see that Godzilla obviously observes this thing as not a threat, he goes about his merry way. It implies that he's not like this mindless, constant wanton destruction character or creature. This adds layers to the character. Also, just to expand on Godzilla's characterization here, after Serizawa's sacrifice, we see the G-Man rise in front of Mark and crew. After Serizawa makes his epic sacrifice, he basically delivers the bomb, and the bomb explodes. It's this huge explosion in the temple. And we see the G-Man rise in front of Mark and the crew. By the way, the cinematography in this scene is just freaking glorious. Do we have a clip? Because man, it's damn near like it's damn near like witnessing the creation of the universe itself. It's so poetic, man. Insert scene. What did I tell you? Just glorious, glorious. Now, let's carry on and talk about the fights. People complained about, the dark and rainy scenes. Leaping lizards, Batman. These scenes are too dark. Like, my guy, have you seen the Showa films? There's plenty of dark footage in there. There's, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah comes to mind where you can barely fucking tell what the monsters are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you seen any of the Showa films? Okay, those were the Showa films back in the day. These are these scenes with high quality CGI. Okay, you're being a little nitpicky. All right. Now that has been addressed. Oh yeah, Mothra stabs Rodan. I'm gonna say it again. Mothra stabs Rodan. Like, the amount of violence and just sheer badassery of violence, it like just incorporated in this movie is just insane. Like, you can't convince me that the very sentence alone of Mothra stabs Rodan doesn't induce you to go like, ah, got him! Like, insert the
Got him!
Again, the fight scenes in this movie is just fantastic. It's fantastic. The final battle alone is worth the price of admission. Oh yeah, let's fast forward. I was literally, so we're right at the end. We're at the, final conclusion of the movie, right? Right before, Godzilla gets supercharged by Mothra's energy, and she sacrifices herself and basically conveys her energy into himself. But, right before that, let's fast forward to Emma, getting chased by King Ghidorah. She's basically using the orca and uses it as a lure to distract Ghidorah, away from Godzilla. This scene was certified chef's kiss. Certified chef's kiss. It's something about seeing Ghidorah intentionally going after a human being that is nigh indescribable. It's horrific, it's badass, and it's fucking suspenseful. Seeing a pissed off Ghidorah shooting gravity beams at a moving car is cinematic gold. And again, it may sound biased, but one simply has to admire the ambition that was applied to this movie. Like the level of detail, to the cinematography, the visuals that really are applied to Ghidorah whenever he's on screen, and just how badass he looks. It's fantastic. And the entire soundtrack, especially during that final scene that I just described. Yes, that's fantastic. So, bravo. Also, I know we're approaching the end of the video, and I just want to wrap up a few things before we close. So, again, just to further point something out, it's just a little nitpick of life that I have. It makes no goddamn sense how people literally show up in droves. People would literally show up in droves, come rain, come sleet or snow, to see stupid ass, pointless fucking films like Transformers and Fast and Furious. It makes no goddamn sense how, the MonsterVerse prior to GVK was struggling to keep an audience. Yet we have stupid ass, pointless, trivial fucking movies like Transformers and Fast and Furious. Literally, creating franchises after franchises, sequels after sequels. It makes no fucking sense at all. Oh, God. Okay, rant over, I swear. So, in conclusion, Godzilla 2019 certainly is a big-budget popcorn flick worth watching on multiple different occasions. It's got action, it's got drama, and it's loaded with kaiju awesomeness. And again, sure, the critics tore this asunder. They totally ruined the reputation of this film, probably from now to the end of time. But why listen to them? Fuck them. Because you know what? Art is subjective, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you see beauty in something, chances are there's some value in it. I'm Spiderzilla28. Please like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, have a good day.